Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. So this is the second out of several videos I'm recording at once, just because this is an easier time for me to record, so I generally do a batch of recordings at once and then just edit them. And then scatter the postings throughout. So I keep meaning to show that I finished one of these books, and I keep forgetting to do so, and also I want to talk about a little bit about what I'm going to be reading in the upcoming quarter for Historathon 2024. Now, part of that I'll be talking about in my update to the Big Book Summer challenge, but part of it will be spoken about here. I don't know if I mentioned, though, for this quarter, Historathon of 2024, so quarter 2, I finished Painted Prayers. Absolutely loved this, got so much out of it. I have little notes throughout because it reminded me of other things, or for example, they mentioned here that it's hard to find a Office of the Blessed Virgin that matches up what they have in medieval times. But I have a note here that the 1867 John F. Fowler edition has the same setup, albeit a different translation. I actually have that edition, and I used it to compare while I was reading in that section. So this was very nice, besides having pictures and information about individual books of hours. It just had a lot of good information in general about praying those hours, which I really appreciated. And this will probably be a book that I revisit, so I will keep where I can easily access, since I really got a lot out of it. This is not an author that I've read other books by, although I do have another book by him coming in, because at least one of the people that he mentioned in here I wanted to read more about, and he had another book on them. And I can't remember which artist it was. But the author's name is Roger S. Week, W-I-E-C-K. So I will in the future be reading another one of his books. But yeah, I really have enjoyed reading this one. Put this out of the way. Now for Jane Austen July itself, let me bring these over. Not Jane Austen July, although it is covered in here. Quarter 3 Historathon / Jane Austen July is part of what talking about here. But first of all, before I forget, in the It's Not That Bad book tag, I had talked about how I use this when I'm reading a lot at my desk. Let's see. Where I would prop a book. If it's not too thick, I'll prop it in on here. And then I can knit at the same time or do whatever. But the other thing I was talking about I will use sometimes for other books that maybe are too thick or even are too thin, I will use this to hold either both sides of the book down or just one side if the other side is heavy enough. So I use this a lot too. This is really nice if I'm walking holding a book and I don't necessarily want to work that hard to hold it open with thumb and finger. I can just kind of hold the book flat in my hand and let this do the rest of the work. Now, for the books for next quarter, the ones that I'm going to talk about in this video, the ones that are not necessarily in the Big Book Summer read-along, are ones that I'm continuing to read. So I have been reading this one throughout the year, Medicine and Religion. Got my Books Are My Love Language magnetic bookmark in here. And then my other one, which is, usually that should be flipped, but anyway, my Medicine bookmark in there, and then for my footnotes, the book scrubs and rubber gloves. But I have marked out by section here the chapter 7 through chapter 8. Looks like those are the only 2 chapters that are for quarter 3 of Historathon. So I have those sections marked off, and then the rest of the book will be in quarter 4. And I've been reading this throughout the year. I wanted to say that my biggest section was antiquity. I've really enjoyed this. I have several of Gary B. Ferngren's books, and I will probably be reading them, throughout several years. I don't want to do too many at one time because I think I'll get more out of it if I spread them out. But this was a good one to start out with. This is his historical introduction to medicine and religion. He also has one on Christianity and healthcare. He has another one on science and religion. So I really look forward to reading those. I know that there were a couple books that I got, or at least one book I got out of his footnotes that I will read in the future as well. And this actually got a thumbs up from the JAMA. So that's Journal of American Medical, I think it's Journal of American Medical Association, if I remember if that's what JAMA stands for. I never really read theirs. I would have read the nursing ones. Their continuing education didn't do anything for my license. If I did anything of their continuing education, would have been just for my personal education. And I did a little bit of that, but it didn't really do anything for my license. But yeah, that's a cool thing when you have both historians, medical journals, and journals of religion and health just all coming together to kind of give this a thumbs up, which is kind of cool. So I look forward to reading the next 2 chapters of this. I'll probably finish this very early on in the quarter because it's not like I have that much to read. The other one that I will be reading next quarter, and I do look forward to restarting this one. This is the first Eamon Duffy that I ever have read. I now have most of his books. I hope to eventually pick up all of his books. But this is Eamon Duffy's Marking Hours, English People and Their Prayers. And I read the medieval section this quarter. Now this upcoming quarter, I'll be starting off with Thomas More and going through the Reformation. And it's not as long as the first section simply because the Book of Hours, in the way that they were in medieval times, would not necessarily have had the same popularity because they would have been trying to edit out a lot of the popery. So I think that there is probably a very uncomfortable that crossing over into what England's religious landscape began to look like during that very turbulent period. But yeah, it'll start off with Thomas More and then go forward. So I do look forward to this. I have thoroughly enjoyed Eamon Duffy's covering of this topic. I got way too many book suggestions from this, so this has been very bad for me, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And the other book that's not a big book that I intend to read for July, because I wanted to read this last July, but I didn't get around to it. I got it too late. But this is In the Pride of the Moment, Encounters in Jane Austen's World. And it's by John A. Dussinger. And what it's supposed to cover, he argues that the strength of Jane Austen's writing is found in the minute encounters that reveal a character's life rather than in the larger design of the story. In the Pride of the Moment contests that the familiar view that Austen's novels are stylishly polished but lacking in substance by showing that they give In the Pride of the Moment, the author contests the view that Jane Austen novels are stylistically polished but lacking in substance by showing that they give unusual significance to the most ordinary events. Austen's narrative strategy brings her characters together in an encounter, a radically focused interaction revealing nuances of behavior. The encounter conveys symbolically the participants' attitudes and intentions, and if the nominal activity in the scene is significant in forming political alignments, it also defines the alienation of the individuals outside of the frame of reference. Such deliberately choreographed performances reinforce the idea that the principal action in Austen's world is talking. The most immediate quality of such oral communication is a sense of its circumstantial uniqueness, its ability to place a character both as a social class member and as an individual. So it goes more into this. So I'm really looking forward to this because it covers not only characters, which is something I thoroughly enjoy, but it also covers writing, which I do enjoy diving deeper into how writing is done and the theory of writing, which is why I have things like, I think it's called A Man of a Thousand Faces, the Campbell book. John Campbell? I don't think that's the right first name. But he's the one who wrote about the hero's journey and everything. So I enjoy those kind of books. And this has my Pride and Prejudice bookmark in there. Look forward to reading this. I've really been wanting to. So this will be fun. And I'd kind of like, if I get a chance to, even though it won't be Austen, if I do read an Austen, it might be one of the shorter ones. But I've been reading Austen pretty consistently the past couple of years. So I kind of want to do like Austen adjacent this year. I know last year I read about fathers in Jane Austen. I have to see if I have anything else on my Kindle. If I don't, I might want to read as part, going to be something that could be used for Big Book Summer, but it's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, I believe is the name of the book. And it is a fantasy set in like Regency, Georgian era. And it sounds like Austen while still having magic. And I started the book, I just never got around to finishing. It's a huge book. But I love the idea of the footnotes, and I love the very Austen feel of the writing. So that might be something that kind of is Austen adjacent that I'll read for Jane Austen July, as well as whatever I can maybe find on my Kindle. But definitely this one. Let's see. Anything else I want to talk about for this video before the next one? No, I think that might be it. If I read any actual Austen, like I said, it might be one of the shorter ones. It's been a little while since I've read Sense and Sensibility, even though it's not one of the shortest ones. The shortest one is Persuasion, but I read that fairly recently because it's one of my favorites. So if I reread one, it might be one of the earlier ones. I don't think I could read Northanger Abbey again. It's been a little while since I've read that one too, and I think that's a shorter one. So we'll see if I read an actual Austen or if I just continue to be Austen adjacent. That's all I can think of for this video. So I will go ahead and get this one finished and then start up recording the one for the Big Book Summer update. So thank you very much for joining me. I will see you for the next video. God bless. Bye.